It's new point day. To be more specific, the Tungsten Points for the X10 by Shot Archery. I'm going to try these out. I got the golden type. We'll go over installation and how to remove existing points. And yeah, stick around. So first, I'd like to address why did I choose these points? If you saw from a previous video, I actually had trouble with Decut tungsten points for the X10. But then my thought was, if I'm trying these already, can't be worse than what happened with the Decuts. So yeah, it happened twice. So they broke cleanly off the arrow. They're not supposed to do that, but I do understand that tungsten is more brittle than steel or aluminum. The point of using tungsten is because they are harder, and the trade-off of having harder points that fly better is that they will also be more brittle. The ones from Decut, I believe I got a bad batch. This is way too brittle. So I've had that happen with 2 arrows, 1 arrow. It's like, maybe I hit something in the target. Second one, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But yeah, they broke cleanly off. But I got these mostly because I heard great things about them. Shot Archery has been making different products. They come in different colors, which I always appreciate. Different options. And out of all the other tungsten points, this is the least expensive one. So, I mean, again, can't be worse than this. So that's why I chose these. And they come in a reusable little silicone bag. It has a QR code here explaining that it's a reusable bag. And the bag, the first photo is the bag with tomatoes in it. So I guess it's a snack bag. Has some stickers and a little card from Shot. I don't know. I appreciate that. Pretty cool. So let's get started with how to get inserts. So we'll get the knock points out first and then get the broken inserts out. Okay, to remove inserts that we applied using hot melt, we're going to use scalding hot water. I've microwaved this water with a little bamboo chopstick in there to get it to scalding temperatures. So the reason why there's a little stick in there is to make sure that it doesn't superheat. If the water is filtered in too clean, it may actually go beyond boiling temperature. So then the minute that you insert anything in it, it will be very energetic. So we are at about 195 degrees. Okay, so we transferred the scalding hot water into a thermal cup, and it's a little taller so the arrows just sit. It's actually starting to come out on its own with the heat. That's pretty interesting. I'm going to apply the propane torch to this one. That came out great. To get the broken pin from the point out of the way, I have this fiber optic cable, literally from fiber internet, that was spare from the installer. They installed fiber here, and I cut it in half. It is coated on the outside, so it shouldn't hurt the aluminum inside, and it slides right in. So that's pretty convenient. So all I need to do is get this heated to a point where I can push it from this side. So let's get that in there, and I'll see what else I need to do to heat it to a point where I can push it. Okay, so I did get a tad bit impatient, but I'm going to gently apply some heat from my propane torch. very gentle. Something that I can't. There you go, right there. And feeling it. Make sure that I don't overheat it. I can still put my hand on it. And success. I got it out. Oh, it's definitely hearing my heartbeat on that one. Whew. I applied heat to the arrow with a flame. For pure carbon arrows, if you're using the Cool Flex, hot water will do it. And I have done that. I could show that in another video for regular pure carbon arrows, but because the inside of these is made of aluminum, the recommendation is the amber hot melt, which ends up being higher temperature and harder to get out. So that's why I ended up using open flame. For removing the points, like these points here, I will also use an open flame. Whenever you're working with break off points, these little grooves here are for whenever you need to break off some weight. This is 120 grains. If I remove both of these, it will be 100 grains. So I could, if these were too stiff for my poundage, use a heavier point. And that's emphasizing the need for having reversible type of adhesion. So that's why we use hot melt. So we can use heat to remove and adjust our arrows. As we get better with our groups, it's not uncommon to start hitting our pin knocks. My previous arrows, they also have pin knocks, and these poor guys, they got hit many times. And the problem with hitting them is that eventually you do need to replace them, and I didn't. So I actually do believe these will fly better if I just replace my pin knocks with newer ones. So what happens is the knock itself gets split, broken, unusable. The pin knock takes damage. You have to sand it and make sure it's not sharp so you can insert new knock. But the actual arrow shaft is intact. And that's when you Robin Hood or you split a knock. That's what you're doing. And the pin knocks will save you money in the long run. And as you get more expensive arrows, like carbon aluminum arrows, these are pretty much worth the trouble. This is Shot Archery's Tungsten Points. They have little grooves here for the hot melt to hold on to. They have break off points. This is 120 grains. So if I remove this, it will be 100 grains. I measure these to be exactly 440, I believe is what I got. Yeah, 440 thousandths of an inch. This is Decut's point, which I'm starting to hate. And this is Shot Archery's Tungsten Points. You can totally see the profile difference between the two of them. But as far as dimensions concerned, and hopefully the flight as well, they appear identical. So weight distribution, I would assume the same as well. And what I'm going to do with these is I'll install 6 of them and just shoot them side by side without looking at them, see if they fly any different and any differently, and see if they fly any differently, and then I'll report back. Alright, so at this point I was hoping to do an A-B comparison between Shot Archery's points, Tungsten Points, and the X-Spot Decut points, but it was no contest. After just after 2 ends, this happened again. I know for a fact that there was nothing in the target this time. Different target, nothing unusual, nothing remarkable, and it just broke off. So at this point, this became a do not buy. These are dangerous to use. It If there was nothing in the target when I shot it, now there is something. So it's not safe to shoot. So X Spot, these guys, I don't know if they got rebranded or what the deal was, but they were sold by Decut or X Spot. So yeah, do not buy. In order to remove these points, I was going a little bit crazy with the torch, and someone pointed out that I could just use a heat gun. And I have a heat gun, not just any heat gun. I have a precision temperature controlled heat gun that I can put a specific temperature, and just like a sous vide, never overcook my arrows. Going to use this attachment for my heat gun. I use this for electronics. This is for shrink tubing, so the heat goes around and reflects onto this lip and goes around something round, which works perfectly for an arrow. So I tested this at around 280 degrees Fahrenheit, and that was enough to, oh, that's too hot. That had been enough to soften the amber hot melt. The roots feels like it'd be hot enough. Oh, that's coming out. That was a lot less scary than with the flame. So, what do we think about the points by the Shot Archery? Compared to, obviously, my previous experience with X Point, I don't know what they call it, X Point Decut, Tungsten Points, those were terrible and dangerous. These have been holding up so far okay. It's been about a week since I started shooting these, and very excited to continue shooting with these. So I really like the look of them. The different colors is nice, and the fact that it has the extra little notches for the hot melt to adhere and hold on to a little bit better. That's pretty nice. And yeah, I like the look of them. So I'm gonna continue shooting these, and I'll provide updates later